Welcome back, friends. Today I'm going to show you something I'm really excited about, very proud of, and that is my new reloading room that I finished back in the spring. Now, I was doing all of my reloading here in the big barn, and a few problems with that. Number one, I just had one 6-foot heavy-duty metal table that I had my press on and everything, but I really didn't have a place for brass processing. I had to kind of jerry-rig something. I had no place to work on guns, so we've got too many other things going on in there. It's really cold in the winter. It's really hot in the summer. So it kind of sucked. So as I was coming out of here, everybody knows in the country that our February here in Texas, we had those blackouts and freeze outs and everything. I was coming out here in February, been doing some reloading. And as I was walking this way, I'm looking over here at our pole barn, and we have a tack room over here. And for the last couple 3 years, it's a project that I need to tackle, because the people that used to live here, it was built back in the 70s, they turned it into a ceramics room, and it had, it's got sheetrock and insulation, and one end of it's open up there in the attic. Man, raccoons, I trapped three raccoons and squirrels eating the wiring. I go in there and sheetrock's hit me on the head, falling down and stuff. So I said, I got to do that. And as soon as it gets warm, I'm going to get right on it. I think I said that every year. But then I'm going, as I'm thinking about how cold I am, reloading, I'm going, maybe that could be a reloading room. I'm kind of slow. Should have thought about it years ago. I'm just a moron. So anyway, what we did, it's amazing how motivated you can get and jump on projects when it's something you really want to do. I was on that thing like, a fly on a turd. The next day, man, I'm pricing lumber, I'm taking measurements, I'm doing all this stuff. I had it completely demoed in 3 hours. And if you've ever done a remodeling project on something old, it's kind of like peeling back the onion. The more you peel, the more rotten crap you find. And I found a lot, because it's called termites. So I basically had to rebuild this thing from the ground up, replacing one corner at a time. 3 corners of this thing were gone. I replaced all the floor joists, well, just about all the floor joists, the floor, top plates, seal plates, complete wall, lots of different studs, lots of scabbing in things, all the electrical, all that stuff. And I don't have, advanced carpentry skills. I've got basically all the tools, kind of know how to use them. I know how to make something plumb and square. So my skills are about 5 on a 10 scale. Now they're about 7. So, but I got it done, and it worked out really nice, and it turned out really cool. So let's take a look at it. Here's my little metal building here, and as you can see, I had to replace some of this stuff. Was all rotten, and everything was done with pressure treated wood. And as I mentioned, when did I decide to do this project? Oh, March of this year. What were lumber prices like in March of this year? Out of sight, but had to be done. Like I say, it's a good thing we did find it, because the termite infestation was so bad. This whole wall here would have probably been collapsed by now, and then that would have caused the rest of the barn to come down. So we really needed to do it. But it turned out really great, and I learned about a lot of different things, and I learned that I can do some stuff that I'm not real comfortable doing. Let's just go around the room real quick. This thing is 11.7, basically square. Got a short ceiling, 7 foot. We use these low profile LED lights, which are great. They don't put off any heat. You don't have to worry about any flickering. No matter if it's cold or hot, you turn it on, they look just like this all the time. We have heat and air conditioning. That's just a small GE window unit that we've had kind of as a spare when we've lost our air conditioning in the heat of the summer and put it in the bedroom. And I can turn that thing on, and on a 98-degree day, this metal building just beating down on you in the summertime, in about 25 minutes, it's nice and cool in here. We can do some work. This is our short wall. I originally thought I was going to put my press here so I could look out the door and everything, but that didn't work. I spent a lot of days out here, a lot of evenings. Once I got the ceiling leak fixed, I was able to put in the plywood floor. I was marking up the floor with tape and everything, figuring out where I wanted everything, and this is the layout that we settled on. our short wall here has the electrical panel behind it. So it's a perfect place to put this bookshelf that we repurposed out of the house. Gives me a chance to throw some things out here, get them out of my gear closet, like my old plastic Caldwell rifle rest. We've got the little Caldwell Rock BR rifle rest here, front rest. Put my chrono out here, some notebooks and reference manuals. You can see my buddy Opie donated a stereo out of he had it in his garage, wasn't being used for anything. We have my only die cast that I have left, and the only one you really need, Dale Earnhardt Intimidator. Grabbed my sprint car helmet out of the gear closet so I could free up some space, and plus it'll add some color out here. Now every reloading room's got to have one of these, you know, a damn cartridge chart. But in my case, I just didn't have anything else to put on the wall, so that's what's going on there now. You know, just like a mechanic needs a snap-on girly calendar, we got to have a cartridge chart. Since we had the air conditioner here, and I really didn't want that right on top of my head on my workspace over the bench, this worked out perfect because we decided to use a short countertop here. And what works out good about this, you can see my J. Dewey rods are over here on this little Tipton holder. When I want to clean my rifles, I can actually now get behind them and run my rods right down the barrel, and then everything's right here. Trash, hang my rods back up, whatever. So that's worked out really good. You can see this is my main workspace right here. And I've got a Draftsman's light I got from a estate sale. I gave 20 bucks for that thing, and they're pretty expensive, and that's the real deal. It was made, you know, probably 40 years ago. I've got this Lowe's adjustable stool, and what's great about it is when I'm working here at this particular station, I can lower this stool and get right down up close on my work. It's easy on my neck, easy on my back, and it works out great. I just made a little bit of a modification. I raised it up about 2 inches, put these screws in here. Now when I'm over here at the reloading press with my stool, I raise it up so I can look down on my work going around the shell plate. So this thing has really been great as far as keeping me from getting fatigued. Now on the countertops, instead of building our own out of plywood, and plywood was out of sight, and then having to put a top on it or whatever, I decided to go with some pre-made countertops with Formica. Got the backsplash on them. They came in 8 foot, 10 foot, and 12 foot straight and mitered. So we bought an 8 foot mitered for this one. We bought a 12 foot mitered for that one, and then we just had to cut that one to fit over there. Everything is on these 4x4 legs and screwed to the floor with these brackets. This thing is heavy duty. We did a lot of framework underneath there, and everything is screwed to the wall, screwed to the floor, screwed to the countertop, everything. Screws. If I don't drive another screw in the next year, it'll be too damn soon. But everything is in there nice and tight. Plus, you know, if you need to take something out, it's a lot easier to do it than if you nail it in. My main workstation here, as you can see, working on a pistol project here, Smith & Wesson 929. I like to use these trays because even when I'm cleaning guns, I just throw the parts in here, spray them with Ballistol or whatever, and when I'm finished, I just wipe it with a towel, throw it away, put it right back to where it was, and I don't have to worry about getting solvent or anything on my countertop, you know, staining this or whatever. It's just real nice and neat. Magnetic trays from Harbor Freight, you got to have some of those if you're working on guns. All of my cleaning stuff is right here. Lubes are there. The only tools that I keep out here are stuff that I'm constantly grabbing for: brushes, picks, you know, Glock punch tool, armorer's block, stuff like that. Everything else I've got put away. Up here, these are actually rice containers. My beautiful bride, she who must be obeyed, grew up in Hawaii, and so we eat lots of rice. And I told her to save those for me, and they work out just perfect. and we just got a little 1x4 shelf using the pegboard pegs because there's no weight at all. Found that in the estate sale. They actually gave it to me. I don't know how old it is, but it's pretty old hoppies there. So that's what's worked out really good for me. I only have one receptacle above the benches, and that's that one, because that's the only one I'm really going to need. And I drilled holes in the countertops and other places if I need to run wires down below. All of our walls got 2 receptacles. We bought commercial receptacles, no cheap stuff. Ran all the wiring ourselves, me and my buddy Dino, and then my neighbor down the street who's a master electrician blessed us off. So at least we're not going to light ourselves on fire. We don't think anyway. So as you can see, we got enough room to do a lot of stuff. Work on pistols here. You can see we're working on our 9mm PCC. Got room to do that. When I'm finished with that, I can just take this and put it underneath the bench or something, get it out of the way. We got more space. I'm working on a solution for all this. This is just my jags and different brushes, but I got another plan for that, so that'll free up this space too. Paying homage to the man, Clint, and if you only own one gun, that's the one to have. Beautiful, and we have that exact gun. Smith & Wesson model 29, and that's a -2, which is the same one he used. Beautiful gun. I took a vise and just mounted it to a piece of wood and put 4 rubber feet on it, and I can use it anywhere I want, and it's not stuck on one place taking up counter space. For instance, the other day I brought it over here working on this exact gun. We're actually doing trigger work on it, and so I can just chuck up the barrel and do some trigger pulls and see where we're at. When I'm finished, I can put it away. So that's worked out pretty good. From this workstation, I can do a lot of things, and without having to get up, I can go over here, reach over here and get magnifying glass, pen, scissors, get my notebook, dial calipers. I keep my bigger stuff down here. That's my Dremel kit, wheeler drivers, fat wrench, trigger pull gauge, and I don't even have to get off the stool. When I was doing that trigger work the other day I was telling you about, also did some polishing. I took my Dremel, pulled this out. We're using this as extra counter space. My Dremel stuff was here, plugged it in there, did my work, put it all back, and here we go. And you'll notice the height of my countertops is a little higher than normal. It's almost 38 inches, and it's just high enough to where this slides under. So, and yeah, I planned it that way. So this thing works great. Between that stool and that, those are probably 2 of the most important items I have in here. We'll talk about that some more. If you don't have some compressed air, you ought to get some, because it's just too cheap to go over to Harbor Freight and get one of these and get your little coupon out of your NRA magazine, and you're going to spend less than 50 bucks. When you need air, you got air, and it's great to have. I don't like a lot of things on the floor, so obviously trash cans got to be there. Obviously that's got to be there, but things like this, want them out of the way. I've even got my broom over here, and it's out of the way. Got to have a clock. We found our clock on Etsy, I believe, and they'll make it any way you want. You can get a Smith & Wesson, Don't Tread on Me, whatever. Bezel, any color you want. I put the blue hands on it, so get you one of those. Now we move over here to the reloading area, the press, and I'll just take my stool, bring it over here and raise it up, and it's also much more comfortable. And the good thing about having that adjustable stool is you can find a comfortable angle to where you're working your press rather than being stuck on one like I was in the other barn. I had to deal with that particular height. Once again, I wanted everything to be reachable from the stool. So over here I've got a magnetic strip. These are all the tools and wrenches I need to work on my Dillon. We're only reloading 9mm and 38 special. I know some of you guys, you know, you've got 50 sets of dies and stuff like that, but I didn't need a lot of shelves, didn't need a lot of cabinets. So you know, I just don't need a whole lot of room, but this has worked out great for me. Canisters from the kitchen area at Walmart, fix you up on that. We've got one tray here for rounds that need to be pulled apart for whatever reason, and ones that almost case gauge go in here, and we shoot them in practice, and we case gauge every single round. Now, when I determined where I wanted this, the way I did it is before I mounted it, I just moved it around the countertop and around the room, and I used some clamps, and I would sit at my stool and, you know, see how it all worked out. And I determined this was a good area for a couple reasons. Number one, it's real close to the post here, so you got a nice sturdy place to mount your base, mount the base of your Dillon to. And I moved over just far enough to where I had plenty of room over here, and that's where we decided to mount it. Once again, 1,001 uses. So I don't have to get up from the stool. I need to do a powder drop, check my powder drop notes, overall length, it's right there. Oh, I'm out of primers. No problem. I got loaded primer tubes ready to go, more primers, flip tray, broke something on my Dillon, all my spare parts are right there. So this thing, you know, once again, keeps me from getting up and doing stuff. Also, keeping me from getting up to do stuff, if I want to pull my bullets, I've got this little Lee single stage with an RCBS bullet puller on here. I've tried the, is that kinetic or inertia? Yeah, wait till a couple of those primers goes off and you crap your pants, you know. I went with this. The Hornady one's kind of light duty. This thing is the bomb. It works great. Little Lee one stage press, and I think it was $60 on eBay brand new. So right here, I can take it off of here. We've got T-nuts on here. I can take it off anytime I want if I need more counter space or it's in the way, but so far hadn't been in the way. So like I say, everything that I need for running ammo, repair, whatever, is right here. When I fill up my spent primer tray, or I got some junk brass that just needs to go in the trash, instead of putting another trash can, you know, right here on the floor, looking like crap, being in the way, I just took this little small plastic bucket, I think it was mortar compound or something, gave it a rattle can paint job, and a hook under here, and once again, don't even have to leave the stool, throw it in there, good to go. Keeps your floor nice and clean, everything straightened up. Got some spare room here, that's where I can throw some big old bulky rifle case and stuff. Really able to free up some room there in my gear closet. Works perfect for that. All my projectiles are on the ground because that stuff is real heavy. Got finally able to get some decent supply of blue bullets, and then there's some locally sourced Cimarrons. Now, this here is pretty much all brass processing, and yeah, it always takes up a little bit of space. I've been through a couple different routines of processing my brass, just like everybody else. Wet tumble with pins, then put it in the, you know, the walnut dryer there, the dry media. Then take the pins in here and you got to separate them and all that kind of stuff. Then you know, it's just kind of a nightmare. Here's my routine, and I've done a video on this. You need to check it out. We take our brass, we put it in here, water, brass juice. No more Let Me Shine, no more Dawn dishwashing liquid. Run it 90 minutes. I take this tray, I pull that Craftsman back out over here, put this on top because now I got another countertop, and I kind of dry it with this towel. Get most of the water off, and then it goes in our Frankfurt Arsenal dryer. Use the timer, about 45 minutes, and then I take about 200 rounds and I throw it in here. Lube of your choice, spray it down, put the lid on, shake it, take the lid off, spray it down again, shake it, take the lid off, let it dry a little bit, and then it goes into my case feeder. And I can sit here on my butt and look up because I put a little spot mirror right there, and I can see how much brass I got. And that brass juice, processed brass, comes through this Dillon and these Dillon dies pretty darn smooth. Is it like butter? No, but it's a lot better than the nightmare that I was, dealing with was sticking dies. I cleaned, I did everything. I tried tumbling with all sorts of metal polishes and stuff. None of that worked. I talked to a guy that reloads for a living. He turned me on to that stuff, and it's great. Check out my video on it. I think you'll like it. And what is this down here? That is 3 times used brass juice. That's something else. You can reuse this stuff. I've reused it up to 4 times before. So I just pour that right back into that, right out of the tumbler, except for the very bottom stuff, the ugly stuff. I throw it away. And then I put it back in the tumbler, add a little more water, do it again. Works great. Got containers here for our 9mm, and that's 38 special. We throw them in there when we bring them from the range and try to get all the dirt and gravel out of it, but I don't use any of that stuff anymore. No pins, no tumbler, no magnets, no dry tumbler. Of course, we got a fan. Everybody got to have that, and we got a nice little easy chair I got out of the Walmart garden department. Is it my imagination, or everything you get from Walmart is like bigger? Look at the width of that. My 300-pound buddies could sit in that one. No problem whatsoever. We could hang out here with a beer. Paying homage to 3 of my favorites, Mo, Larry, and Curly. Because we don't take ourselves too serious around here. But that's kind of my room, man. Pretty much did it all myself. I did have to contract out the sheetrock. I thought about it, watched a lot of videos, but I figured I would screw up more than I would actually hang. And this guy does it for a living. It took him 20 hours. Hang it, tape, bed, and texture. So I'd probably still be hanging sheetrock, if it was up to me. Learned how to do the floors myself. I actually found this at Lowe's, 99 cents a foot. So watched a couple videos, learned how to lay vinyl. So like I said, I'm pretty proud. It's worked out great, and I love coming out here. My friends like coming over here and hanging out. Just turn on some tunes, pop open a beer, get a glass of wine, and solve the problems of the world. So there you have it, my reloading room. Let me know what you think down below. If you see something that, hey man, this works great in my room, you might want to check it out, or maybe I showed you something, that'd be great. But man, I'm always willing to get some tips and tricks on other things. So until next time, you guys be safe. Keep that muzzle pointed in a safe direction. And we hope to see you out on the range. Adios.